You're on the party line with Sarah and Christy. This is I'm on the Phone podcast, where we're healing out loud, sharing culty stories, and laughing at the mess along the way. So grab a coffee, a bestie, settle in, and let's talk. Content note before we begin. This episode includes discussion of religious trauma, emotional abuse, family estrangement, divorce, and holiday-related triggers. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, we know that I love Christmas. That's not up for debate. So Christmas is obviously very special to me and something that I love to celebrate.
Yep.
This year is no different in my desire to celebrate.
Okay.
So yeah, that's same. Always. It's always the same. I have literally thought that I would love to have a house that is just decked out for Christmas year round.
That is so funny. I get so tired of Christmas decorations. So I'm totally.
Well, I think it would be fun to change the type of Christmas decoration, maybe change the color schemes throughout the year. That would be so much. That would be so much decor and work. But I do love it a lot.
Do you like to decorate for Valentine's or anything like that? Leave your Christmas tree up, but decorate the tree for the holiday.
Yeah. So this last year is the first year that I did that, because I had for the first time I had an artificial tree.
Yeah.
And so I have enjoyed leaving that up year round and decorating that for holidays. And then it was, because after Easter and Valentine's Day, it became just seasonal. It was summer.
Yeah.
And then autumn, which that's actually so gorgeous. But yeah, I do keep my tree up. Right now, this is not its normal location, so I'm taking advantage of the fact that it's here.
You guys chop down or get a real tree every year, usually, right?
Usually. Last year we weren't able to, but this year we did, and this time it fits the ceiling. It's so tall.
The first time, it's gorgeous. The first time I got a real tree, my oldest daughter was maybe 6 years old, and she's extremely allergic to, you never know what she's going to be allergic to. Never know. And I think we ended up having to take it out of the house before the season was over. I can't remember exactly what happened, but she broke out in hives on her face, and I couldn't figure out what it was because, she did that with cats, and when we would go to our church, there was something in the carpet. If she got down on the ground and played with any of her friends, anyway, got too close her face to the carpet. It was really weird. Then she would break out. Anyway, that tree was making her. Finally, I realized that it had to be the tree.
Oh man, that's so sad.
I know. So we haven't had a real tree since.
I know for a lot of people, holidays are harder. And this year has been particularly hard for you and I for similar but different, very different, but also similar reasons.
Right.
And we want to be careful about what we say just because we do like to protect our privacy and our lives. But there is a lot of, we've talked about conditioning so much. So there can be a lot of guilt around Christmas, and it's just one of those times of the year that so much emotional manipulation can come into play, and a lot of guilt if you don't comply because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people feel that it's only around these types of holidays where they decide to maybe reach out if there's like, so like I'm estranged from my family, which obviously you know.
Yeah.
But why is it around a holiday like Christmas or Thanksgiving that someone decides to reach out and be like, hey, I'm trying to think of like the things I've heard, but it's a time when a lot of family will try to reconnect, but it's always in a very emotionally manipulative way. And it's never in a way that actually offers true reconnection. It's often a way that says, come back, you're wrong, but we want you back anyways.
Yeah.
Um,
Sort of like, I wish that you would call me, or I wish that you felt like that we could get together on this holiday. Sort of like casting that, like, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is a decision you have made. And, yeah, I know what you mean. It's sort of
I've heard so many stories. Like, I mean, because I listen to like lots of podcasts of other people who have gone through this, or like, honestly, I listen to people who are experts in this field, as far as like psychotherapists and that kind of thing.
Wow.
But it's insane to me how like it's like they work from the same script and playbook. The people who do this.
Mhm.
I mean, it's almost laughable because it's like you can predict what they're going to say next, and they do almost to the T. And yeah, this time of year can just be so used to emotionally manipulate people to come back to trauma because Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, and my thought is always, well, if you were actually interested, that person who discarded me, or people who discarded me, would be the ones approaching me, number one.
Right.
Number
Exactly.
two, like, why are you only saying this on a holiday?
Yeah. Is it about, I know it's like family togetherness and that's sort of like the whole, but yeah, why is it like around Thanksgiving and Christmas mainly? Like that's when they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays. And so,
And for what it is, like it's not really different than any other day of the week for what they're trying to get a hold of you for. Like, why can't they just, anyway.
I mean, like, it actually ruins the holiday. Because rather than being able to actually enjoy your family that you're with, there's just like this cloud that hangs over of like this awful anticipation.
Yeah.
Of having to deal with it.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to heal, when you're trying to, in some ways, just forget. In some ways, I know it's
in some ways. Well, you can't forget because
trying to get past. Yeah, not forget, just trying to move past it. It sort of like snaps you back to it to an extent. Yeah.
Well, and you know what they're actually asking for, and it's not reconciliation. It's not accountability. And I'm like, I can't pretend, I can't pretend anymore at this stage of my life because I care far more about authenticity for myself. So I'm not going to go to what I intentionally make something that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go to an event like that and have like decades of unspoken truth sitting under the surface.
Right.
and like just to go sit and pretend, because all this peace on earth, which their peace is basically don't rock the boat, be quiet, be grateful,
Yeah.
be forgiving. And we've talked about forgiveness, like what that means for them.
Right.
You know, it's nothing is real.
Mhm.
It's all an act.
Yeah, they want you to come back and they want you to come back and continue to put up with the abuse, basically.
Yeah. That's very clear.
Yeah.
And that's typical for these types of systems.
It is. Absolutely.
So like, and I mean, I hope that I would love for true reconciliation to happen, but
Mhm.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I see zero indication of that ever happening.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. So then it turns out, like, of course, at Christmas time, you think about all the years past and what it should be like,
Mm-hmm.
and what it was like. And that's not even to say that there wasn't like good times and good things. Like that's never the case. It's always a mix.
Yeah.
So that can make it really difficult for people to see,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know how to separate the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always this they always want to like make these excuses of like, well, they did their best or they were trying, which may be true.
Yeah.
But even you and I know that for ourselves, that our best is not always enough.
Right.
Like, but the key difference is that we're willing to admit that.
Yeah.
And do our very best to course correct
Mm-hmm.
and maintain a relationship where we're open to accountability,
Yeah.
and respect mutually.
Yeah.
Especially for adult children.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, it's true no matter what age you are, but like once you're an adult, I mean, that's usually when estrangement happens with families, is with adult children and obviously the parents. But yeah, like you, as you have liked to talk about, like we both believe how important it is to have identity and how that's like so foundational
Mm-hmm.
to living your life successfully. But when you go back and there's all they really want is for you to go back to who they said you were and not who you really are.
Right.
And they're unable to accept that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't say that. It's so weird. I still struggle with guilt. Even though I know I made the right decision.
Absolutely.
Like I know I did. And when I start to question it, I have to go back and look at like everything that was happening and being done and said, and oh buddy.
Yeah. Because it's hard to even if you're not estranged from your family,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of difficult to go back home anyway as an adult child.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that actually just the other day, the return, like going returning home. And to be honest, it shouldn't be hard to go back home.
No.
It should be something that adult kids look forward to, going back home where they grew up, to the mom or the dad or the parents that love them and that raise them and that lets them have their identity in full and
Right.
is proud of them no matter what, no matter what. I mean,
Right.
you're raising kids not to be criminals, pretty much. I mean, that's the way I want to raise my kids.
Okay, that's a low bar.
Yeah.
Just don't be
And
a
I'm just
criminal.
like, do not, there are certain things that you're not allowed to do. But whatever they choose in life, like their vocation or, whatever, if it is part of their identity and they love it and they're going after it, they're, I don't know. I want my kids to want to come back home for the holidays. And
Yes.
I've told them, even if you don't want to come back home, if you have got plans that holiday or whatever, you don't owe me a trip back home. You can go have your plans. Your presents will be waiting for you whenever you decide, whenever you're ready to come back and visit.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not responsible for my happiness now. They won't be responsible for my happiness in the future.
No. And yeah, using emotional manipulation to get them to do what you want, that is just,
Yeah.
ugh,
And it
so
is
gross.
hard when you feel like as a child that you're responsible for the happiness or the emotional security of your parents. It's hard
Yeah.
as a child. It's really hard also when you're adult, because then not only are you responsible or you feel responsible, but then your children and your husband or whatever become responsible as well. And you're trying to control them around your parents.
Oh my gosh.
That's a whole other, I mean, just going back to, can you imagine?
I mean, like right now, like just what I felt when you said that, like the thought of having to manage, this is a big one for me, but like I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words. I would be on such hypervigilance around my children's behavior.
Yes.
If we were all together.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and that is like actually one of the biggest things that I have had to struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
Was always managing expectations there.
Right.
Especially now that they're older and they are building their identity.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's far healthier than what I've ever had.
Yeah.
It would not be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Just because for the most part it would be I'm struggling with words today just because I want to be careful in what I say.
Yeah.
Having an identity as a teen or preteen in that world is unacceptable.
No, you have to conform to the way they want you to be and they want you to act. You cannot have an identity. And most of them
it's all very tied to church and those type of expectations, and even like the mindset of parenting from the 60s, 70s, 80s. It's all do as I say, period.
And it's a very narrow path that they.
Well, it's that mindset within the religious structure.
Yeah, those guidelines.
And so there's no wiggle room whatsoever.
I
And
mean,
then you're working around someone who has moving goalposts of expectation.
oh, constantly.
I mean, you just never
They
know.
don't even know, what they want half of the time. That's part of the
Mhm.
problem, Sarah, is that they haven't done the work on themselves. Therefore, they're projecting all of these emotions that they can't control, and they don't have any identity of their own. They don't even know half of the time what they want, how they want to feel, what they want to do, all of this stuff. And so their dissatisfaction starts with themselves. They're
Oh,
constantly
absolutely.
satisfied with the way they are, the way they ended up, or whatever floats their fancy that particular day. And
Yep.
if they're female and going through menopause, it's 10 times worse. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So not only do you suffer, but your family, your kids and your partner suffers right along with you. I remember being like telling my kids, no, don't do that. Like getting onto them for something, and they
You
look at
can
me,
never relax.
no, and they look at me like, oh, why? I get to do that at home. It's like all the rules changed when I walked into the
Hmm.
room with certain people. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. And who wants to spend a holiday like that? That's not even, it's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Well, and it's also like the roller coaster of like the fun, like the good things like that are great. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't love Christmas because my Christmas was horrible forever. Like
Right. Yeah,
like
exactly.
I generally speaking had good Christmas time experiences, right?
Yeah.
But then especially like it's hard to explain sometimes. I still have trouble putting into words um, all the dynamics because a lot of what I was dealing with was, I mean, it was a lot of invisibility,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
a lot of pressure, like I said, like on my kids' behavior. Um, it wasn't always like it's, and this is where like maybe you and I are a little more similar, different people, but similar relationship expectations or things. Um, where you're not going to walk away with a bruise. Um, but the emotional damage is astronomical.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't notice, think it's wrong. And I personally feel like even if I pointed it out, they wouldn't care. And I know for a fact that that's true in many of the cases
Yeah.
because they think they're right.
Yeah.
And that is the primary thing for them to be.
Yes. Oh, white and right. And it's that unmovable stubbornness around like wanting to or knowing that they're right, and they have absolutely no interest in an open mind, believing that the parent that they raised, the person that they raised, could possibly know better about the child that they birthed, could have any intuition whatsoever about what's best for their child.
Right.
It is crazy to me uh, that their idea of you, the parent's idea of you, whoever it is, mom or dad, did not grow with you. You're still stuck back in like an irresponsible, naive, whatever, just a stupid teenager in their mind.
Yeah.
Not even a child, but you're stuck in that adolescent, whatever part of your life where they thought maybe you were the dumbest you didn't know anything, your brain was not developed, that's where you're stuck in their mind. And that's the way you're treated for the rest of your life, quite literally. Even after you get married, even after you have kids, even after you turn 40, that is.
Oh, it's like you can't. It's like you can't mature and have wisdom of your own that you've gained through experience and your own learning and education.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you're forever. You're just the narrative that they have always projected onto you of who you are, even like your character.
Oh.
My word. And depending on the situation and who they're talking to, that can change.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this, like, for my situation, the decision was made for me. Like, I wasn't like, I never want to see you again. I never said that.
Yeah.
But that feeling was made very, very obvious to me. And for all the things that we were going through at the time, it was just like, okay.
Yeah. It became,
but there's nothing else to say or do.
Yeah, it became like the key to your survival, to your mental.
Yeah, it was the only option left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Yeah, and I don't share details just because I don't. If you don't know them, you don't deserve them by this point, because it's been what, 2.5 years. Like,
it's not been long enough, and it's been.
Yeah.
I remember.
And so, yeah, the fallout was it really crystallized, like the response from like the last interactions I had just crystallized everything. Like, you want to talk about clarity?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Absolutely.
So
even though, the relationship was already pretty much severed at that point, like it wasn't going anywhere. And for you, it felt like that it wasn't going anywhere for a long time, like when they're stuck way back there, and you're progressing, right? Which
I'm also in the middle of a whole crap ton of trauma, like going through some of the absolute hardest things I've ever gone through. And you throw that on top of it.
Yeah. I mean,
I have no words.
I remember your first Christmas. And then, which was pretty bad. And then, is this your second? No, this is your third Christmas, isn't it?
Third. Yeah.
Last year's was pretty rough though too. This year you're coming into it with.
I feel like I have really come a long ways this last year.
Yeah.
Just in ways that I've healed, and I'm definitely still in that process. It's never going to go away.
No. It's always going to be in the back of your mind every holiday.
Like Christy, I think about it every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a process of grief, and the grieving process honestly hasn't really even started, to wear off of the numbness of all the things that were happening. Like, not just this, but all the things, because it was layer after layer of intense, big trauma and change. I mean, like moving, we had to move, and that was a nightmare. Like, I would never wish that particular process on anyone the way that it had to happen for us. Like, that alone was enough to drive someone mad.
Yeah.
Like, just the not knowing if I'm going to be homeless or not from day to day
That was crazy, Sarah.
for like months.
Yeah.
And it was bad enough where we were that I was willing to live in our car. Like, that was how bad, like, the experience was where we were living.
Yeah.
So there's all this trauma and abuse from that community, from the cult.
Yeah.
I had a life-changing diagnosis for one of my kids that kept me from working, and we've already discussed how that community and that place like destroyed us financially.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then I'm like deconstructing and figuring out my own self, just me personally. Like, just trying to figure out why I am the way that I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm recognizing my own patterns of behavior that are toxic.
Yeah.
Like, severely toxic.
Yes.
I mean, because they all come from this cult.
You learned everything.
And it was just, I mean, it was all the cycles that everyone before me had.
Right. Right.
And like recognizing in real time what I'm doing to my kids and what I'm passing on, and not being okay with that. And that is like utterly devastating to see when you, the mother, are an abuser.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
And it is so devastating to like recognize that in yourself. But if you can't see yourself honestly,
Yeah.
man, I just don't have words for it, because you're just going to perpetuate and continue all the same things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like, my number one priority was to not pass this burden on to my kids.
Yeah.
And we have had the conversations. Like, I have apologized so many times for the things that I did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very aware of what I did.
Yeah.
And also, like, recognizing what was happening for me during all that.
Exactly.
Like, not as an excuse whatsoever, but understanding, how did I get there?
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what I was figuring out. And how did I get there? And how do I stop? How do I change and become a better person? And trust me, the cult and the religious teachings were making it worse.
And it wasn't even really, I think one of the main things that I noticed coming out of that was, it wasn't all just the way that I was abusing my children. Mainly it was like that severe verbal abuse that was going on. But it was the way that I was abusing myself, by the way that the things I was telling myself, the guilt I was feeling that I didn't need to feel guilt over. Things that were sin that weren't really sin. I mean, you hold yourself to this rigid
standard.
The rules were just suffocating.
Yeah.
And it was just like sapping you completely of energy, like mental energy. And then on top of that, you're beating yourself up and you're abusing yourself. And then on top of that, you're trying to take care of your kids with whom you love unconditionally. But you have no identity of your own. You have no self-control. You have no, and then you're beating yourself up in your head because you're being told these things from the pulpit, from your family members, from anybody else in that area. There's no autonomy. There is no understanding.
There's no stability of any sort.
At all. No one is
emotional.
No one is emotionally stable. Everybody's walking around trying to conform to an idea of probably somebody in a beard and a top hat made. All these rules that just never change. And oh my goodness. It is so frustrating because then you're beating yourself up, and that's where
you're trying to pretzel yourself to fit all these expectations that are literally impossible. I mean, you have all these expectations within that religious world, the cult world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's bad enough for women out in the world who don't have religious expectations to pretzel themselves even into our own just general American culture of female expectations.
Absolutely.
And then you take that. I mean, if anyone saw the Barbie movie, they nailed it with that one little piece. I think everyone knows what we're talking about, where you're too much and you're not enough. And it doesn't if you're this way, then you also are expected the opposite. All your expectations are a dichotomy.
Uh-huh.
And they can't coexist. But you're expected to make both worlds happen.
Yeah.
And so you have that just in our general society.
Mm-hmm.
And then womp womp, here comes religion.
Yep. On top of it.
And we're not talking just a little bit of religion. It's the kind that literally suffocates you as a woman, especially. And you're generally speaking left, and again, this is also societal, but it's even as bad or worse within these types of communities. But raising the kids on your own, you are expected to make them comply and behave. You're just a behavioral management person. And you're so dysregulated and unstable and beating yourself up constantly. You're taught to hate yourself. You're being a woman is basically wrong and dangerous. So you got that going for you. And you're constantly being indoctrinated about that. And then you start to indoctrinate your children about that. And everything that you teach is literally from fear of failing in ways known and unknown.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I just quit taking my kids to church. I mean, I was so confused about so many different things. And I thought, if it is a sin not to go to church, that's one of the biggest things for me, is that you couldn't have any days off from church. You're there every time the doors open. And it's one of the reasons I quit taking them to church was because I couldn't agree with enough of what was being said in any service to warrant going. And I didn't want my kids to hear it. I didn't want it to get ingrained any deeper in their minds that this was the way we were supposed to live. And so I did weigh the consequences were there consequent, if I did decide that we were supposed to go back to church, would taking a year off really hurt my family?
Yeah.
And I didn't think it would, but it was within like 2 months that I realized we will never go back, not to a church like that.
No.
And it was like coming out of the clouds, not just that I wasn't going to go back to church and I wasn't going to take my kids to church. It was like coming out of the clouds and being able to really be able to focus on what I felt was actual truth. And it wasn't anything what they were teaching.
Well, I mean, they talk about coming out of the fog, out of the fear, obligation, and guilt, which is literally my experience of church is all fear, obligation, and guilt.
Yeah.
And like that obligation piece is astronomical.
Yeah.
And it really is like the theme of every relationship, whether it's with your family, with the church, like no matter what was going at church, you always felt obligated. And then you would have fear if you didn't meet those obligations. And then if you didn't meet those obligations, you were guilty. And then if you did do them, there was still fear and guilt around whether or not it was good enough.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I remember, so when we first moved to where we're at now, this place is like full of churches. It's kind of wild, actually, how many churches are here. Like,
small towns have got so many churches. It's not even funny.
Well, and at this point, I'm like, I'm not going to a church. We did have a church we were attending that happened to, like, the people there were actually really great. But it was kind of still far for us. And we were so utterly exhausted in every possible way.
Right.
Like, I mean, we still continue to go to church for quite a while. And finally, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it's a long ways. My schedule is so full. And I never get to rest.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about like, it's a day of rest, but it's like the literal least restful day of the week.
It was the most, as an ex-pastor's wife, it was the most stressful day of our week was Sunday.
Yeah.
And I never understood that because it was preached that it was supposed to be the Lord's Day, but yet it was created for
us.
It was created for us. It was not so that we could get on our Sunday best and go and, relax together in the church. It was stressful.
Well, like, yeah, the fellowship, it had required so much work. And it wasn't like this is not to say, like, especially depending on different churches, but like for me, that was often the only social time I got.
Absolutely.
And some churches had that more than others. But once we moved here, and I was like, well, I want to find a church that, that preaches what I have come to believe is true and healthy, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I started looking around, and I'm like, well, first of all, if your church doesn't have a website, I can guarantee you it's toxic. Because there's too much to hide.
Yeah, no, they need to. Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, I'm looking at all the websites of the churches all around here. And I know a lot of people just like, will just go visit a church and get a feel for the people, which, I guess it's fine. But I am very concerned about what do you actually believe, because it will impact my life.
Right.
and the lives of others.
Absolutely.
And it dictates how you operate. And so I'm going to all these websites and reading, and they're lengthy, like reading the about section, the what do we believe section. Like some are like ultra short, and I'm like,
That's all.
and okay. And even those were like problematic. And I'm just reading and reading and reading it. And every time I'm like, oh, this sounds great. And then I would get to another section. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Got to be kidding me. Okay. Nope. Not that one.
I mean,
It's happening over and over and over.
yeah. And good for them for putting it on the website, because I will not go to a church that does not have very detailed things on their website about what they believe and that kind of thing. And I think that it's a good thing. This is my like a side note, to actually list pictures of like who is the leadership of the church and what they do, and a little bit of biography about them and stuff like that. I do like that.
Yeah. Same.
But I would not just cold call a church. I would go if I was recommended by somebody I trusted.
Yeah.
But I don't. I would never cold call. There's absolutely no way. And that is the reason why me and my kids to this day do not attend church. I'm scared to death of them, to be honest. And I am not going to go in the mental state that I'm still in right now.
Right.
But still healing.
Well, like right now, just listening to a sermon at all is just so triggering.
Oh my goodness. Unless we're doing it here and I'm being able to like blast what I really think about it, I won't be listening to sermons anytime soon.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, right now, church is most definitely off the table. And like I said, I have looked, but even at this point, I'm like, there's like maybe one church that I would consider, but it's so far away, I can't go. And I know you know what it is.
It's far for me too, and I've thought about it a lot. Really would love to go. I'd love to take my kids there, but it's just there again though, Sarah. I wouldn't go. I would actually go by myself first.
Yeah.
Might take my oldest one, but I would actually want to visit it first, before I
have come to like just cherish that day though, because for the first time ever, I have a day of rest.
don't have to be anywhere.
It is like the most. I honestly can't. It is so much more fulfilling than anything I've ever experienced.
Like the first time in your life, you're actually able to look forward to Sunday.
Yeah. And it's like there's no expectation. I really try to guard it making any plans on that day.
Yeah.
It really is a day to relax and rest and let my body and mind catch up to each other.
Right.
Because the rest of the week is chaos.
Right. Yeah.
And like, we've talked about here, or on here about us even like figuring out where we are spiritually, what we believe spiritually. And that has changed so drastically for me as well. I just don't know that there's a church that would fit the bill.
No.
And the thought of like maybe once my kids are like older and out of the house, I would be okay with having to get up and get ready to go somewhere. But at this point, like that would also entail me having to make sure they're ready to go, even though, yes, they can dress themselves and all the things. I mean, I used to have to get all four of them dressed and ready by myself. So
yeah,
like that's exhausting in and of itself. But like I want a day where I'm not responsible for everyone.
Yeah, you do that Monday.
I mean, to a point. Still gotta make sure they eat.
And if your kids are into sports or whatever, you're still doing it to an extent on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So it is like truly Sunday is the only day that there are very little to no expectations
Mm-hmm.
for anything. Now I do work a lot of Sundays in the afternoon and evenings
Yeah.
because I am still a stay-at-home mom and single, truly single. And there's really no other day that I have a sitter. And
Right.
in the evenings for the kids is like I have to be able to rely on somebody to get them to bed by 8 or 9 o'clock. You know, they all go to bed at different times. And oh my goodness, yeah. So Sunday is definitely, I mean, it's definitely a day that I can stay in bed guilt-free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, circling back around to Christmas,
Yes.
I mean, and we're like talking about Sundays, but oh my goodness, Christmas Sunday.
Word.
Like now at this point for me, like the thought of going to church on Christmas about gives me hives.
Well, and there was something wrong with you if you missed Christmas Sunday.
I mean, because even the sinners go on Christmas, Christy.
Yes. Yes. Christmas Sunday and Easter Sunday. Not that we're going to talk about Easter, but those are the times that people came out of the woodwork to go to church. And so, yeah, if you didn't go, if you weren't ill, then you had no other excuse. It couldn't be that you just wanted to not go to church. I mean, that was more important because that was Jesus's birthday. We're celebrating, like, you know, something.
Well, it's the same concept, Christy. It's the same concept of like, why is Jesus only important on Christmas Sunday and not the whole year?
Yeah.
And why do you only contact me for Christmas and not any other time of the year?
I mean, to be honest, there, if you think about it, we're not even celebrating Jesus's birthday when he was actually born anyway.
No.
And a lot of it is for us anyway. It makes you wonder if Jesus is really, you know, I doubt he cares that much about his own birthday because
I mean, time for him is not that big a deal.
yeah, I mean, well, it's non-existent to him, really. There was no,
Yeah.
Anyway, it just cracks me up how narrow-minded we actually are around Christmas. And
Excuse me.
there, just one little insert into Christmas, when I was going to public school, my teacher would tell us, write X and then MAS, right? And so that's how I knew how to spell Christmas, but like in the 3rd grade when it wouldn't fit on a card or whatever, then that's how they taught us how to write it.
Right.
You would still say Christmas. You wouldn't say Xmas. I mean, I know some people actually say that.
Yeah.
But it was just a shortened word.
Yeah.
No other significance. And I remember writing that when I went to Bible school then. I went to Bible school like the next 2 or 3 years later, and I did that on a card. And I'm not kidding you, some of my classmates about hyperventilated trying to tell me how horrible that was. And I was just like, what? And finally my teacher was just like, oh, Christy, you took Christ out of Christmas. That is how she told me. And I was just like, that is the dumbest thing. Even as a child, how old was I? I was 12, I think. Even as a child, I was just like, in my mind, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because you celebrate Christmas. You just don't. I wondered if you had experienced any of that, like around that.
I remember when everyone lost their minds about Xmas.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
no.
so this would have been like in the earlier 2000s, like after 2008. But back when we forwarded emails, like,
Yeah.
but I remember reading an article because it was blowing up on Facebook at the time. People, you know how they get upset about there's like this war on Christians because people didn't say Merry Christmas. They said Happy Holidays.
Yes. Oh my.
And if you wrote Xmas versus Christmas, yada yada,
Yeah.
it was so narcissistic of Christians to
Yeah.
even be saying what they were saying. Because I'm like, you're not the only religion, right? Like, I heard recently there's like 27 holidays in the month of December for different like religions and cultures, right? I mean, it was something ridiculously high.
Yeah, the judge.
I'm like, I didn't even know that, but I'm like, I'm aware there are other holidays for other peoples besides us, but of course we have to be like in charge.
Like they're the center of it all.
Oh, absolutely. But I read this article on Facebook, I think is where I clicked the link, but it was talking about how, and now I need to go fact check this, but I think it's true, but I want to find out for sure. But it was talking about how that X was the Greek symbol for Christ. Like, or something like that.
What?
Like, it actually literally did mean Christ. It was just.
That is crazy. Okay, so I wish I'd have known that when my teacher accused me of
Hey, I'm going to go look it up right now.
That's frustrating because, well, like, I was the last person that would want to seem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was the last person that would do anything that would look like I was against God in any way. Like, I was so conscientious, especially my first year back to Bible school after being. And it was just already against me because my parents were divorced and my mom had gotten remarried and all of that stuff. So much was already against me. And then to be accused of taking Christ out of Christmas was just like a big I don't know, whatever on top of that.
Okay, let's see. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. So I looked it up. So this one is genuinely nerdy in the best way. The X in Xmas comes from Greek, not from erasing Christ.
Oh my goodness.
So it says, here's the short explanation. It says, in Greek, Christ is spelled, it's a big X, Greek letters, and it means Christos. The first letter of that word is, I think they say chi, it's C-H-I. I don't know if they say it chi or said, which looks exactly like an X. Early Christians often use X or X, it looks like P, as shorthand for Christ, especially in manuscripts where space mattered.
That's exactly how I wasn't taught that it was the Greek symbol.
Oh my God.
In third grade, they taught us how to write in public school. They taught us how to write it that way to save space.
Yes, it says this usage goes back over 1,000 years, long before modern culture wars decided to be loud about it. Ironically, people insisting that Xmas removes Christ are usually reacting to something that started as a very Christian abbreviation.
I am so intrigued to learn about this because
it's not like hard to find, like do a little research for yourself instead of like
They just want to grab on anything that they think might be evil and just they gravitate towards it and then they blow it out of proportion. Whoops. They blow it out of proportion. Oh, it is so ridiculous.
Yes. Well, they approach that the same way they approach being preached at. Like they read it or hear it from someone that they trust. And we're trained to just listen and accept whatever.
Mhm.
And so they start like getting their panties in a bunch about Xmas. And I'm like, of all the things, like, let's get our panties in a bunch about that, but not about the homeless people, like not about the poor people,
Exactly.
not about, people who actually are in need, but, let's have a war, a made up war on Christians and Christmas.
Absolutely.
To get mad about rather than seeing the problems and again, not taking accountability for your own freaking actions.
No, the poor people and the people that we're supposed to actually help, we look down on in that.
Oh yeah. They're villainized and demonized and told that they deserve it or they haven't worked hard enough or they're lazy, etc., etc.
And we judge their lifestyle and we judge, there was one family in particular that was really in bad, like they always, trying to think of my words here, they didn't have a lot of money. They all lived together. And I feel like personally, we chased them away from church because of all of the judgment. And there was a lot of kids in that family that would come to church, and we did not love them the way that we were supposed to. I mean, we didn't even really help them the way we were supposed to. Our help came with so much judgment behind
conditions.
Conditions, absolutely. And we would like bribe them to come to church when that might have been the last place they needed to be. It was just, I think about that family a lot. And it was, around Christmas time, they were faithful to always come to church. And they would come and the kids would be in the Christmas program. They always had a really good time. But it never was, I don't really ever felt like that they felt loved by us the way they were supposed to. And I regretted that for a long time. Anyway, but yeah, we are the people that we are supposed to be loving and helping and stuff like that go by the wayside. And then we hyper focus on this stupid. That is really liberating for me to know that X is, means I'm going to start teaching my kid. I'm going to write it everywhere, Sarah. I'm going to decorate my sign. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, that's ironic. Because these people will get themselves so up in a tizzy over the dumbest things and wonder why people don't come to their church and stay. It's rare to get people in the door anyways, because there's a reason why people don't trust the church. But it's like people are in need year round and people only want to really focus on it at Christmas time. Like you and I, we're broke. We're going through so much on our own right now. Like we are not coming from a place of wealth at all.
No.
Like $20 is a lot of money to us.
It is. To be honest, I believe, we're like it's like drilled into our head that we're born with all this sin in our heart from infancy. We're just like, but in reality, it is our instinct as humans to help each other. That's an instinct that we're born with. I believe that with all my heart. And we create monsters in humans.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, churches are the first place you should be able to go to for help.
Right. Right. And so I mean, I'm just thinking back on like my own experience, like growing up. I mean, I remember the rhetoric around people on welfare,
Yeah.
on food stamps.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my Lanta. And so when I had to go on food stamps, well, first of all, this is when I think I only had 2 babies, and someone close to me that I dearly love gently recommended or asked, like, had I looked into WIC.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know like what was available to me. And I'm just like, what? What is that? And so I like look it up and I apply, and we qualified. And that was a huge help, even though it was just literally like formula, milk, juice, cereal, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it was very limited.
Not your whole food stamp options.
No, but like for needing formula,
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the primary. But it was like some super simple basics that really, really helped me out.
Right.
And then like applying for food stamps, and in my mind, I'm just like, I'm thinking of everything I've ever heard said about people on welfare and the assumptions that are made.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was so ashamed.
Oh.
And I was mortified to go to the cash register and use my card.
I still struggle with that currently.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to see that I'm on food stamps. I don't want anybody to see that I use a food stamp card to buy food. And I'm talking about like milk and things that we actually need. I'm not talking about candy and pop. I mean, that stuff I do get, but I don't get every time I go to the store. And it's not incorporated in my, even if it was, that's my business. Food
Yeah.
obviously pays for it, but it's not like I'm getting like all this. I mean, this is necessary stuff. Why? But I am.
Well, and like it's like they have this mindset around people in poverty who are, poor people, that they don't deserve to have good food.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
And they have this idea that it's being abused more than it is being like genuinely used. And like these people, and I remember like there's a particular person I remember that made this post on Facebook, and this is years ago. Like I know who the person is, but I'd never talked to them. Okay, but I knew who they were. And it was a man, of course. He made this post just ripping apart people on food stamps. And I have never forgot that. And of course, it's like someone from the cult. And I'm like, especially after, being an employee of one of their Bible colleges, where they encourage you to use food stamps and HIP and, all the government welfare programs, because it's the only way you can kind of survive.
Absolutely.
But then they have the people in their audiences shaming people who use it. But at the same time, I don't know if it's so weird because so there's like, obviously there's wealthy people in the cult, otherwise they couldn't exist. But there's also a lot of poor people that qualify for welfare.
That refuse, and some of them refuse to get on government assistance.
Well,
because of this narrative that has been pushed in that cult.
Well, I mean, I remember a particular professor at the last college I was, attended, he was like one of the ones I respected the most, and probably of all of them still do. But he told a story one time that, because he had what, 4 kids. And I mean, he was shaming people who used welfare, mind you, okay? And he was talking about how, like, bless God, they didn't have anything either, and he's like, I signed up just to prove that I would qualify, but I didn't ever use it. And he was like totally like doubting people who used food stamps. I'm like, I don't even know if he's aware of how many kids or students in that room that were on food stamps or grew up on food stamps.
Yeah.
But like, if you work in one of those colleges, you automatically qualify. It is so bad. Like, they pay you like a third world country. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like, these are just small instances that I remember.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just like mortified to be on food stamps, but it was the only way.
Yeah, it was.
And they accuse people on there of being lazy, and I'm like, the people I know on food stamps are literally the hardest working people I know. We're talking like 2 and 3 jobs. Like, they're never home because they're always working.
Well, and that's not true, like, in any way, shape, or form. To be on food stamps takes a lot of work, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Stay on food stamps takes a lot of work, and you have to stay connected and stay up on it. I've lost them like 3 times because I've missed that letter.
For one little thing.
Yeah, the one little thing. And I've had to reapply and then reapply and then reapply simply because
Exhausting.
it is exhausting. But it is definitely worth, to me, the work is worth not having to worry about food for 2 or 3 months that I have it. And so it's not true for people who are on food stamps. There is one person I can think of right now who constantly, desperately needs to be on food stamps and who just has refused. Their whole life has refused, and they've got so many kids. And they just, in my mind, I'm just
like pride.
It is. And it is. The thing about it is that we do live in a very rich country, but it is so expensive to live here. The more
there's less and less of a middle class.
And there is. And so if you do not have like a top tier job to try to pay for insurance, for a car payment, for a mortgage, for utilities, for everything your kids need, just, I mean, you're a sports mom. And your kids just are getting ready to, 2 of them getting ready to be driving. One of them is already driving. But I mean, you think about it, as they grow, they just get more expensive. So then you have food stamps. It's a necessity. It is.
Yeah.
It is something that I'm very thankful for, because everything else is so expensive, including food. And it's actually one of the only ways that I can feed my kids healthy food.
Yeah.
Everything else is cheap food is.
Well, okay. Here's another impossibility they throw at you as far as expectations. They yell at you because you buy good, healthy food. Like, well, I can't afford a steak, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever you're buying. But then they yell at you because, oh, they're just buying junk food, yada, yada, yada. They're just abusing it. Like, well, which one do you want me to buy, sir?
Exactly.
Like, am I not supposed to be healthy?
Yeah.
How do you think a person gets off of this and improves their life? By eating junk food?
Right.
Is no one allowed to have a little junk food?
Exactly. It's not like, you
like,
buy.
What do you want me, like, would you like to do my grocery shopping?
Right. God forbid that you would buy like a little bit of pop or your coffee or creamer or.
The hypocrisy around people in poverty and the church.
Yep.
And Christmas really really brings up a lot for that. It's like the one time of year that they put forth an effort to help poor people. In a lot of, at least in my experience.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. They need a meal today. I'm like, well, only one day?
Right.
I'm like, I remember at one of our churches, we started, or not we, but like they started a food pantry. Someone organized that. They actually did a really good job. I don't know if they had formula or not. So I remember like I will give them credit for this. They were trying because they did recognize that people needed to be met where they were. And there were certain people who brought that to the attention of the church. And they were very much about, like I said, meeting people where they were. And it's not like and this is actually where things got dicey and things happened, was because somebody, a pastor, thought that you had to have a gospel message along with whatever you received. Like, you can't just help people.
Yes. You have to have.
You have to shove it down their throat and be like, well, if you're going to get this, then you have to listen to me.
Yeah.
And that has a lot of issues for the person in charge of that ministry, rightfully so.
Right.
And that ended up being kind of the event that allowed them to see him for who he was, as I had been saying that is who he was.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't matter how, like, you completely destroyed the help that you were giving.
Mm-hmm.
Or you soured it by your actions afterwards. Like, the conditions that come with the help.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would rather not have the help if I had to meet the conditions, and that's what's so.
Well, okay, so like the cool thing about that ministry was like they would, and I participated, we would go and be in a community and like do a community dinner. I mean, it was like,
Oh yeah,
hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that, and they would do like fun stuff for the kids. So like I learned how to face paint for this. This is where I learned my face painting.
oh cool, and she's
so
amazing at face paint. Oh my goodness,
that is what started that. And so my friend and I became face painters, and it was like so much fun. And like the line wouldn't stop for like 4 hours solid. It would just be like out the door. And it, because we did it for free. And so we offered all this stuff like free of charge, like just like enjoy, like eat, like have a full belly and have some fun.
Yeah.
Like, because these are a bunch of kids. Yeah. And I know there was like coat drives and stuff like that, because we didn't live like in a wealthy community by any stretch. And so that was like kind of where it started. And so the person in charge did a fabulous job of, organizing everything and reaching out, and like had like such a heart for the community.
Yeah.
And like, again, there was this constant push for like, well, if they come, then they have to hear the gospel. And then like at one of the, I don't know if it was the final event, but like there's this one was so typical. It was a very narcissistic playbook move, right? So this particular event was pretty large. My friend and I were face painting again, and there was someone there doing an interview.
Okay.
And this whole thing is going off. Of course, the pastor's there, who opposes all this, mind you, because we're not doing a sermon. But of course, it like received well by the community.
Well, sure.
And he like took credit. And to this interviewer, I can't even remember if she talked to the actual organizer. I think she might have a little bit, but he just went on and on like this was like he was down with all this. Like, and of course, it was so twisted. But like that's the kind of thing. Like it's so conditional.
Like I would hate to be part of that church. I would have been so embarrassed.
Oh, we were fuming. We were so upset. We're like, because literally he was like moping around and just not really, like he was just around, you know, until he could, it became to his benefit, you know?
Gross.
It was so gross. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was like around Christmas time, by the way, because it was winter.
Yes, I bet it was.
Yeah, because there was a coat drive there, so a lot of people were getting coats for the kids. Or it's actually so crazy, like stuff that we saw. But anyways, we're not talking about Pinterest Christmas or Ralph Lauren Christmas this year. I don't know what that's all about.
I was asked the other day if I was going to, if all my packages had to be wrapped the same with the same amount, with the same kind of paper. And the person that asked me, I was just like, no, why would? And they said, well, that's how you normally do it. And I thought back and realized that it was. That's how I normally, like, when I was really into Christmas decorating, you know, back in the day when it's been probably 3 years since I've actually done that.
Yeah.
All of the presents under the tree had to be wrapped in the same paper or paper that matched each other somehow.
Coordinated
colors. Because it was part of my decorations. It was part of
Yeah.
my decor. And it's funny how you just let things go when they don't serve you, when you realize that they're not serving you and they're becoming more of a hassle than I want to show you the Christmas paper that I found.
Oh, yes.
My oldest daughter said, oh, I want all my packages wrapped in that this year.
Yeah. Oh, I have some people here who would love that.
Christmas, baby.
There's a Jack Skellington. Oh my goodness.
Tim Burton.
Oh. Yep.
Love Tim Burton movies. I actually might do Nightmare Before Christmas for me and my two oldest.
Gotcha. I still haven't watched that thing all the way through.
I haven't either. I've not seen it, but I wanted to because anyway.
Oh my goodness. When we first got married and before kids and stuff, like the tree was, well, it still had my Hallmark stuff on it, but I like coordinated the tree, you know.
Yeah.
The coordinating like Christmas balls and all that kind of stuff. But the longer time has gone, the more eclectic it has been. Of course, there's like so many more Hallmark ornaments or just like ornaments that are personal to each kid.
Yeah.
So that's fun. As far as wrapping paper, I just find, I mean, I would just collect it because I think it's pretty. But like what I've kind of done here and there, it just depends. But I would like just use one wrapping paper for each kid and not put their names on it. So they don't know what's what. I only know whose it is because of the wrapping paper. That way,
good idea.
They can't guess.
That's a really good. I might use that one.
So I'm like I'm sneaky about it because I know they will try to figure things out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so it was just a way to,
it
was a way to do it and I didn't have to label anything. And I mean, I love bows and all that, but you got to stack presents sometimes.
Right.
And I don't want to smash anything.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm cheap. So I usually even use, if I have to put a label on there, one of the things I used to do, I don't really get Christmas cards anymore, but I would take Christmas cards and cut out the pretty part and make that the
That's a good idea too. My goodness.
label, or yeah, the label, or the to from.
Yeah.
My mom did that. That's where I got that from. But I love, I mean, because the cards are so pretty and you can use multiple parts.
They really are pretty. In fact, like even saving your cards that you actually get would be a good like recycling. I actually number our gifts from
Oh, okay.
the greatest. So like they get the most expensive one or the one that they really wanted at the very end to sort
Okay.
of like kind of bring everything together. And it was just like I would start with like labeling it with the name and then present one and everybody would have.
Okay. I never thought, sometimes I would have an order that I wanted them to open it in. Not always. Sometimes there's like those gifts that are like across the board for, it's the same thing but different for everyone.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's all really fun. I love getting crafty with it.
Oh, for sure. I'm not huge about wrapping gifts. I don't like wrapping gifts, but I do like creating like the name tags and
Yes.
that
You
kind of
do
thing.
such a good job at that. You should offer gift wrapping as a service.
Oh my goodness. I don't.
Yours are so like luxury. Like,
That is so fun. So many, like my sister used to tell me that too. And I didn't, I think it's probably, I love bows on
yeah.
Christmas and ribbon on Christmas.
Mm.
So I think one year I had gifts for like coworkers and
Mhm.
other people. And my kids were just like, well, those look really nice. They look better than our because I spent more time on the wrapping to give the gifts away. Oh my word. And my kids are, I would just like do that with the kids' gifts because I was just going to throw it under the tree and they were going to rip it open anyway. Anyway,
Well, it's appreciated more by adults.
it's definitely appreciated more. Oh my,
Like
they
the
would,
ones you've given me I'm still just like,
see, I don't remember any of them.
well, one you put in this really fancy box, and I still have the box. Like this, I thought I did. I'm
Serious?
thinking about it now.
Funny.
I still have like the tag with my name on it. I just want people to like just be able to enjoy their Christmas this year in spite of whatever is happening and going on.
Whatever you're going through, please
Yeah.
enjoy somewhere in it.
Yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but it's what?
Make it a New Year's resolution not to stop beating yourself up for unnecessary things.
Yes, Christy.
Oh, shut up. Yes, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
We could all say that about each other, couldn't we? We're just
Probably.
some way.
It's a bad habit to break.
It is a bad habit to break.
But we do hope y'all have a Merry Christmas this year. Happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating. Merry Xmas. You're gonna like just like plaster that everywhere.
Oh, I most certainly am. I'm going to put it on my Facebook post like post haste.
Yes, absolutely.
So validate. I mean, anyway.
That's hilarious. Well, we learned something today.
Yes, we have. A very important something.
Very.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Please.
I know I forget to say that all the time, but it would really help us out if you do. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Bye.
You've been listening on the party line to I'm on the Phone podcast with Sarah and Christy. Join us again next week for more stories about our pre, post, and mid-culty life. Thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas. Or Xmas. Happy holidays, y'all.